Just imagine you taking 4 listings in a month and doing this. That's 200 cards that are sent. When you take those listings, that's another 200 cards you're sending when you're selling that listing. So we're looking for all these marketing activities that we can continue to do based on the business that we're already doing right now. And it automatically takes you and it separates you out of the pack. Probably been thinking about expireds the wrong way this entire time. I can completely change that loop for you in regards to taking more listings. So rule number 1 in my 4-part strategy today is everything that I'm going to tell you, it has nothing to do with cold calling expireds. We don't need to do that. There's absolutely no reason to do that. I have nothing going on whatsoever. And I needed business right now. And I didn't have an ad budget or anything like that. Maybe I don't even have a website. Like, I'm brand new. Into that moment, I would go get the expired list. I would call it every single day for 30 days to just get out in the habit of doing it. Welcome to Your Brand. My name is Steve Olson. Today, we are going to talk about getting listings from previous expired and withdrawn listings. I'm going to give you 4 strategies that you can walk away from today by the end of this podcast, and you can immediately implement into your business. This is very simple. You don't need templates. There's no magic, anything. I'm going to give you a few frameworks that if you take notes during this podcast, and you really, really do a deep dive and figure out I've probably been thinking about expireds the wrong way this entire time. I can completely change that loop for you in regards to taking more listings. Why should you listen to this? I've had my real estate license since February of 2007. I almost said 17. 2007. Ran a huge team, huge brokerage. We've sold thousands of home sales. I was a Tom Ferry coach for 8 years, ran 2 tech companies in the real estate space, and I still coach today, and we're growing a national team. So I tell you all that from a perspective of, I have a lot of different angles of context that maybe the solo agent who's just sold real estate doesn't have. It has nothing to do with intelligence. I've just seen around more corners than most people do. And it's going to sound weird because at the end of this video, you're going to be like, whoa, Steve is like anti-prospecting. I'm not anti-prospecting. In fact, my entire career has been built around my ability to sell something to somebody who maybe wasn't prepared to get sold, whether it's advertising, mobile phone, like all that stuff. Like I believe that sales makes the world go round. And I do think that prospecting is the best skill set that you can learn to significantly change your business right now. But there's a couple like asterisks or challenges that I think come along with that I want to walk you through today. One strategy that we're not going to talk about today is I'm not going to tell you to go buy the data from RedX or Vulcan 7 or Melissa data or your MLS or wherever you're getting your expired data for, and just hit them every single day with phone calls. And you guys know the script. Hey, my name's Steve Olson. I'm a real estate agent. I was doing some research on the MLS for a client today, and I noticed your home came on the market. Came off the market. I'm just calling really quick to find out if you plan on relisting that home for sale. I will tell you, if you make 100 of those phone calls every day, 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year, it will be a wildly, wildly profitable activity that you do. You'll get a huge ROI on that. The challenge with this is that it's not sustainable, meaning there's only so much rejection somebody can handle to stay consistent with something. Let's go to like the totally opposite end of the spectrum. Let's say that for some reason, you were looking for a spouse or a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and you figured that the only way that you could find this spouse was if you talked to recent divorcees, men or women, doesn't matter. And so you buy this list of everybody who just got divorced. Maybe you can get that in the court system. Maybe that data is available. I don't know. And you call them and you say, hey, Carol, my name is Steve Olson, and it looks like you just got divorced last weekend. I wanted to call really quick to find out like when you think you're going to enter the dating pool again. How do you think that phone call is going to go? Well, exactly how you think it's going to go. It will go 99 times out of 100. And the one time that somebody says, you know what, Steve, I'm glad you called. I'm thinking about dating right away. Are you available tonight at 7 o'clock to go get drinks? That's probably not the person you want to go date with. Do you guys see where I'm getting with this? So expireds are kind of the same way. Most of you guys are saying something like, hey, I noticed you took this action and you freaking failed, or your agent failed to sell it, or there wasn't enough marketing, or we know that home sell when competition meets scarcity meets marketing, like we say all these weird trigger words, and all it does is piss clients off. And then they give us all these objections. And you're like, that's kind of weird. That's not an objection. Like, why are you even telling me that? They're telling you that because nobody wants to be called on the phone and said, hey, I know you tried something. It looks like you failed, but don't worry, it's not your fault. It's probably your realtor's fault, which, by the way, might be their sister-in-law, right? So there's a whole nother issue there. And so what happens is they just object and they object and they object. And pretty soon Like every phone call is us fighting for our lives. Now, going through that, there is business there. So if you have no business right now and you have no money, I would go find the expired list and I would call that every single day until I got a listing, maybe two. And then I would use some of the other marketing tactics that we talk about on our team. Take those listings, go get more listings, and then never call an expired again. So, rule number one in my 4-part strategy today is everything that I'm going to tell you, it has nothing to do with cold calling expireds. We don't need to do that. There's absolutely no reason to do that. And there's a way to work them that's a lot easier. It's a lot more friendly. It's a lot more collaborative. And you will identify more dream clients by doing this. Okay, let's move on to number 2. When you take your next listing, doesn't matter what type of listing this is, doesn't matter where it's at. Could be a cheap listing that you didn't want to take, could be a luxury listing, could be an everyday listing, could be a listing in another market that maybe a friend referred you and it may not be your home market. I would do this for every single listing that you take, and I would be looking for 50. This is the magic number. 50 is what I would be looking for. So I take a listing at 123 Main Street. I'm going to go into the MLS or RedX or wherever you get your data. I know I told you earlier not to get that data. I just wouldn't call that data every day, but you still need the data to work these expireds. The good news with this is we can just go find this on the MLS because we're actually not going to cold call at all. We're going to market to them and we're going to do it in such a way that they're going to reach out to us. So I'm going to go find 5 or 50, excuse me, my phone's going off right now. I'm going to go find 50 old expireds. I'm going to go back, if it takes me 4 years, that's okay. I'm going to go back to 50 old expireds and I'm going to send them a handwritten note. Now, you can use technology with this. I think scalables or sendables or printables is one of them. Handwritten is another one with a Y. That's a tool that we've used before. It's a little on the pricey side, $300 or $3.80 a letter, something like that. But they will handwrite this letter on a card in an envelope that is handwritten, hand returned, and a real stamp. That's really important. You cannot bulk mail this letter. It will not work. They're immune. When they see bulk mail, they just think spam. Bulk mail, spam. So a handwritten letter to 50 of these, and we're just going to tell them about the property. Hey, my name's Steve Olson. I'm a real estate agent here at Real Broker. And I'm sure you probably saw the sign go up down the street over at 127 Main Street. When we launch this live, if history repeats itself like so many other listings, like shorten this based on your own term, we're going to have more clients than we need, to sell this home. And I was curious if you thought of putting your home on the market in the next 90 days, right? Don't mention that their home was on the market. Don't mention that it failed to sell. Don't mention that they took it off the market. Remember, an expired is nobody different than just somebody who is marginally, statistically more likely to sell their home over everybody else. And I say marginally and statistically a little bit more likely to sell their home than everybody else for a reason. If you were the world's best card counter, I don't know this to be 100% true, but you can Google this to prove me right or wrong. But I've read that the world's best card counter only has a 1% odd over the house in Vegas. That's it. So they go through all this pain to learn how to count cards, and all they get is a 1% odd. Working expires is kind of the same way. They're not all going to relist, right? But they are statistically a little bit more likely to be open to a conversation with listings. So we're going to go find 50 of those old homes that came off the market, withdrawn and expired. I'd go back 4 years if I have to. Doesn't matter how long. Ideally, these are homes that are similar to the one that you listed, right? So if it's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,500 home, 25 square foot 100 home, 2,500 square foot home, then I want you to go find as many expireds within 2 miles of that home that it withdrawn or expired over the last 1, 2, 3, 4 years, and I want you to send that letter. We just took this listing. It's going to go live on this date. We always get a lot of traffic, and we will have more clients than that home to buy. And I was curious, are you planning on putting your home on the market in the next 90 days? I may need a few more options. That's strategy number 2. We're going to do that 50 times. We're going to do it also 50 times once we sell the listing. So right when we take the listing or coming soon, 50 handwritten notes. Hey, this is coming soon. Right when it sells, 50 to the exact same group of people. Hey, great news. We just sold that home. I wanted to give you a high-level overview of what happened. We spent X amount of dollars on marketing. We got, 291 inquiries. We generated 51 showings. We got 3 offers, and it sold for $14,000 over ask. I have 4 people that are looking for the exact same home in this area. Would you consider selling your home in the next 90 days if I brought you a buyer at the right terms, at the right price? Right? You guys see where I'm going with this? So again, how many of these 50 are going to call you back? Maybe 5, maybe 1, maybe 10, maybe 0. But these are activities that we can do that the more that you focus on one specific area, the more this sets in, right? So just imagine you taking 4 listings in a month and doing this. That's 200 cards that are sent. When you take those listings, that's another 200 cards you're sending when you're selling that listing. So we're looking for all these marketing activities that we can continue to do based on the business that we're already doing right now. And it automatically takes you and it separates you out of the pack. Because if you were a seller, somebody who owned their home, I've done this because we've listed our home for sale and then took it off the market. And then it was 4 days. I'm telling you, no joke, 4 days of probably 10 calls a day for expireds. My phone was ringing all the time. And I'm obviously the real estate agent, right? So if I had to go through this, imagine and those are the people that didn't do the research to figure out that the owner was a licensed real estate agent. Imagine how many calls a normal consumer is getting when they take their home off the market. It's crazy, it's stressful, and none of you watching or listening to this podcast would want that in your business. Nobody would want that. Okay, let's talk about strategy or point number 3. Let's say you don't have a listing and you want to go out there and you still want to use the same strategy. I would look at every buyer that I have. The criteria that I would be looking for a buyer for this strategy would be somebody who is ready, willing, and able to write an offer right now. Doesn't mean they're going to move right now. Doesn't mean they're actively searching, but if the right home at the right terms, at the right area popped up, they would write an offer. So let's say you've got Bob Jones that's looking for a home in San Diego, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 2,000 square feet. They want to be under $1.3 million. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go look for all of the areas that Bob Jones is looking at, all the neighborhoods, all the zip codes, cities, whatever. I'm going to pull the newest or the most recent 50 homes that withdrew or were expired. You ever talk with a hiccup at the same time? It's kind of weird. You're going to look for 50 homes, 50 of the most recent homes that are withdrawn or expired, and we're going to write that same letter. Hey, Steve, my name is John. I'm a real estate agent with Real Broker. I have a client looking, and then just describe their search in these zip codes, this bed, this bath, this square footage, and in doing research, your home fit their criteria. Again, we don't want to mention, hey, I remember back in 2021, you tried to sell your home and you failed. Do you want to sell it again? Don't even mention that. We don't need to mention that whatsoever. Guess what? They know that they listed their home for sale. We don't need to remind them of it. So we just need to ask them the question. If I was to bring you an offer at the terms that were acceptable to you, would you consider selling your home within the next 90 days? Text me. I have a couple questions about your home. That's it. I'd use handwritten. I'd use printables or whatever the other one, scalables. I can't scribables. You'll Google it. You'll find the other one. It's a little bit cheaper, but I think that handwritten has some better technology. Plus, if you use Salesforce or HubSpot or Zapier, you can just load these people right into your CRM and drive them right over there. So it's pretty cool. The automation's pretty slick. You would think I'd make money off this. I don't. But handwritten is the one that I would go to. So again, what happens when you go to your buyer and say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, I found you an opportunity that's not on the MLS. Instantly, that buyer's like, oh, this person is going above and beyond. And that is going to come up in their review. Now, again, what happens if somebody responds to a letter and my client doesn't like the home? Then offer to take the listing. It's a win-win situation. It is another way to prospect, right? So again, what are they looking for? Narrow down the areas, handwritten notes, send it out. I have a couple questions about your home. I have a client looking for X, Y, and Z. It looks like your home may be a fit. I have a couple questions about can you text me at this number? Don't ask them to call you. Just ask them to text you, or even better yet, ask them to email you. Because more people are likely to send a text message or an email than they are to call because they don't want to be sold on that phone call. They're terrified that they're going to call you and there's going to be some dirty realtor on the other end that's just going to hard sell them and trying to sell their home. You want to lower all risk factors right now. We want to make this really, really, really simple, okay? That's strategy number 3. Let's talk about the final strategy number 4. Let's say you don't have any buyers. Let's say you don't have any listings, but you still want to go after expireds. What I call expireds in this moment, and the answer would actually still be no, I would not call any expireds. Now, if I was broke, and broke's kind of a weird word, if I had nothing going on whatsoever, and I needed business right now, and I didn't have an ad budget or anything like that, and maybe I don't even have a website, like I'm brand new. Into that moment, I would go get the expired list. I would call it every single day for 30 days to just get out in the habit of going on appointments, right? Whatever you need to do. There's a million strategies to do that. Just understand that strategy is not sustainable as like a pillar of business because you've got to hype yourself up every single time we do that. And if you're like me, and I love sales, I love prospecting. I don't want to hype myself up every day. I want to do things that are joyful. Like I love creating these videos and these podcasts. I don't want to do things that are unjoyful because I know I'll quit on myself, all right? But let's say you're in that mode. You don't want to call expireds. You don't have any listings. You don't have any buyers, but you still believe that in your market, expireds are the way to go. Here's strategy number 4. What I want you to do is I want you to create a video just like this. We call these talking head videos. Now, you may be listening to this on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts on. I'm just sitting in a chair with a mic in my face looking at a camera. That's all I'm doing. There's no fancy editing. There's no cuts. There's no zoom. None of that crap. Leave all of that out. It doesn't work for things like that. I'm going to create a talking head video. This is going to be less than a minute and a half. These need to be short. Can be vertical. Can be landscape. Doesn't matter. I would film in landscape like you're seeing right now and then cut it down to vertical if you want to make a reel out of this. And I would make a direct call to action video to the exact people that you want to list their home with you. So we want to call them out in the first part of this video. We're going to say something effective. Hey, if you live in San Diego and you are looking for a home somewhere in the $1 million price range with 4 bedrooms and you want to be moved in the next 90 days, this video is for you. So we immediately want to call out who should be watching this video. And then after that, we're going to say something to the effect of, I know of about 27 different homeowners in the San Diego area priced right around $1 million that would sell their home if the right offer with the right times, with the right terms came along. So if you're thinking about buying a home, I'm going to put a link below this video. You can give me your name, your email address, and I will let you know a little bit about who these people are, what the deal is, and then maybe it could be a fit for your home-based journey. But if you're looking for a home in the next 90 days, it's around $1 million. It's in San Diego, California. Click the link below, fill out the form, and I'll give you all the details. And so we're going to run those ads. And I know what you're thinking, like, wait, who are these 27 people? These are all the expireds that we researched on the MLS. Now, we say may want to sell based on the right price and the right terms. We're not promising that all 27 of these are going to sell their home right away. We're just trying to give the consumer options, because at the end of the day, if you were to ask 1,000 consumers their value proposition to real estate, none of them will say, you know what, I'm really happy that they send me an automatic MLS like homes alert when a home hits the market. I love because anybody can do that. And guess what? They're not even looking at them anyway. They're going to Zillow, right? So there's like no value in the homes part of it. But what they do value is that my real estate agent got me access to 11 different homes that weren't on the market that I was only able to see because of the efforts of him or her. That is a massive value proposition. And like I said earlier in the video, that will show up in the review. They will bring up that review, which will get you more clients because reviews are really good, especially in our business, right? So again, here's that video script. My name's Steve Olson. If you want to live in San Diego, if you're going to make a move in the next 90 days and you want to be around $1 million, 4 bedrooms in these specific areas, this video is for you. Hey, my name's Steve Olson. I'm a real estate agent here at Real Broker. I know of 27 homes that would consider an offer at the right price with the right terms, but are not on the open MLS right now. If you are looking for a home in San Diego around $1 million, I will put a link below this video. Give me your name, your phone number, and your email. I'll send you all the details, and if any of them are fit, I'd be happy to show them to you, okay? So click the link below, give us your info. I'll let you know exactly how this works. And we're going to run that ad to all of San Diego, to everybody that fits that criteria. No targeting, just the entire market. The cost per lead on this, it's not going to be $1, may not even be $5. It may be $20, but here's what I know is going to happen. Even at $20 to $50 a registration, people that are looky-loos are not going to give you their info. People that don't want to buy real estate are not going to give you their info. People that are not going to buy the home for the next 5 years are not going to give you their info. So the quality of this registration is worth probably 50 of $1 normal Facebook registrations. It is going to be expensive. It is something you should put I would spend $50 a day. I would create 4 to 5 versions of that video. I'd run $50 a day every single day. Yes, I know that's, what is that, $1,500 a month? It's not crazy, right? It's not a huge ad budget, but when you convert one client and one listing off of that on a $1,500 ad budget, even if you're at a $500,000 market, that's like somewhere between an 18 and 30x ROI on that ad spend. And then what you do once that client says, yeah, I'm looking for a home and I've looked at all the inventory and can't find anything I'm looking at, what are we going to do? We're going to go back to strategy number 3. We're going to write the letter in handwritten, and we're immediately, as fast as we can, we're going to go try to find all of those expireds, have as many of those conversations as we can to give our clients more access to homes they can't find on the open market. That is your entire expired strategy. Most agents are going to say something, Steve, do you have the letters? I do. I'm not going to share them. And the reason why is when you copy something and you don't get results from it, because of whatever reason, it's different every market. And I think our industry is riddled with this stuff. They see one shiny penny, they're like, oh, I'm going to try it. And they rush to do it really quick. They just copy and paste and they do it. If it doesn't get them an amazing result right out of the door, they quit and they're like, oh, this doesn't work in my market. I'm here to tell you right now. This works in every market. It works at every price point. It works with every type of client. It works in the investment space. It works in the short sale space. It works in equity space. It works in condos and townhomes and land. It works everywhere. It's the messaging and how that applies to you that works, that is different for every market. So I may not send the same letter that I would send to a $400,000 home in Phoenix that I would send to an $8 million listing or an $8 million home in Newport Beach. Those would be two totally different messaging that I would do. Just remember, I have this client, they have a need. Could you text me at this number? I have a couple questions. That's the framework of a letter. I have this client, they have a need. Could you text me at this number? I have a couple questions about your property. That's it, right? We're going to do that 50 times every single time we take a listing, 50 times every time we sell a listing, 50 times we take a buyer on, and then we're going to run ads to go identify more of those buyers so we can send those letters. 50 times $4 is $200, right? It's $3.80 to send one of these, right? So a little under $200. If you spent 10 grand a month in advertising between Facebook ads with the strategy number 4 that I just gave you, and then also sending this direct mail, there's absolutely no way this is not wildly profitable. There's absolutely. Now, at $10 a day, at a letter a day, will this ever be profitable? Maybe, but you just don't have you just don't have the cadence of activities to get the result quick enough. Let me give you one example before I cut you loose. If your goal was to win the lottery, for whatever reason, there are a lot of people that believe that they're destined to win the Powerball or the Mega Millions or whatever out there. And maybe they are. I don't know. I'm not here to tell them they are or they're not. But if you were one of those people and you're like, I am destined to win the Powerball, would you buy one ticket a year or one ticket a day? Which would you have better odds on? Now, 365 Powerball tickets a year is still crazy low odds, right? Even if you bought 1,000 tickets every single day, 365,000, which will cost you $700,000 a year. I think Powerball tickets are $2 each. Maybe they're more. I have no idea. But let's say you spend $700,000, you buy 365,000 tickets. The odds of winning the Powerball, I think, are 1 in 520 million. So your odds are still crazy low. But your odds of buying 365,000 tickets versus one are astronomically different. And that's also true in marketing. A little bit of ad spend, a little bit of things happening may get you a result month in, month out, quarter in, quarter out, maybe once a year. But if you want results instantly, you have to jack up the cadence of what you're doing and how much you're spending, because the more people that see what you have to offer, the more opportunity you have to talk to that right client. So I don't want you thinking like tiny action, tiny ad budget, tiny letters is going to get you a big result. I'm here to tell you it won't. You need to go all in. All right. That's our expired plan. Any questions, let us know. Leave us a comment below if you have any thoughts or what you're doing to work expires. If you're doing anything different than us, I'd love to know, but I'm telling you, this is battle tested. I would do it today. And the more you do, the better it's going to get. All right.